Good morning, Acadiana. It is Friday, January 29th, 2021, and you're listening to Local News Live, a production of AOC Community Media in partnership with the Acadiana Advocate. Their team of journalists print the stories important to our community and state, and we are happy to read you some of those stories. You can hear Local News Live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on AOC 1, the AOC Community Media channel on YouTube, and on Cypress Street Radio at aocinc.org/CS Radio. You can find the print versions of these stories and more at theadvocate.com. We couldn't bring you this community service without the generosity of our volunteer newsreaders. Today, we're joined quite possibly for the last time from Lafayette, Louisiana by Bruce Cohen. Bruce, welcome to Local News Live.
Well, this has been quite a ride, huh? For the last 10, 11 months?
Well, you have been going strong for those last 10, 11 months, and yeah, we certainly couldn't have done it without you, and we hope to get you back once you get settled in your new territory. We're not sure if you want to tell people where you're going, because, you're a big celebrity and everything, so you might want to keep that quiet.
That's funny. I'm a legend in my own mind.
Well, you're certainly a legend to us at AOC, and we will talk about Bruce Cohen for years to come after he decides to be too famous to play with us, but we're glad to have you.
I'll always be a part of AOC, that's for sure. Thank you for everything and for the opportunity, Matt.
All right, well, we got a bunch of news. I'm going to let you take it away, Bruce. Thank you, bud.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Well, good morning, Acadiana. It is Friday, January 29th, 2021. This won't be my last broadcast, but it probably essentially will be my last broadcast from Lafayette. I am moving to Georgia early next week, but since we're doing these broadcasts virtual, I'll set my computer up in my spot in Georgia, and I'll continue giving you the news at least 2 or 3 times a week once we get established. So we do have a lot of news to cover. Let's get right into it, starting with as we always do, with the Acadiana news. First story up this morning: back to school. Some districts returning students to classrooms full-time, by Katie Gagliano, staff writer. As coronavirus cases in Acadiana plateau at a relatively high level, more students are headed back to schools for full-time in-person instruction. A week after the Lafayette Parish school system announced 8th and 12th grade students would return to in-person classes full-time, more districts are shifting their attendance plans in a bid to get more students into the classroom on a full-time basis. This week, the Vermillion Parish and St. Landry Parish school districts announced changes to attendance plans, with high school seniors in St. Landry slated to return to classrooms full-time on Wednesday, while all middle and high school students in Vermillion Parish will phase back to the campuses by February 5th. Vermillion Parish School Superintendent Tommy Byler said in a video statement Wednesday that middle and high school students would begin a phased return, with certain grades returning to full-time face-to-face classes on certain days to allow school-based administrators, cafeteria workers, and bus drivers to make logistical adjustments and scale services. All 6th and 9th grade students will report for full-time in-person learning Monday. They'll be joined by 7th and 10th grade students Wednesday. Finally, 8th, 11th, and 12th grade students will return February 5th. Until the grade level's appointed day, the students will continue to follow their hybrid schedule, Byler said. In an effort to make sure our students are prepared and to make sure they're prepared for statewide testing, ACT testing, and for future growth in years to come, we feel like we need to get our students back in school as soon as we can. It's a decision we feel is in the best interest of our students' learning. I promise you we were going to make sure we're taking all the safety protocols we can in school, Byler said to the video. Daily coronavirus case and test counts over the past week show a slowing recovery from prolonged winter holiday spike in Acadiana. The reason's positivity rate dropped this week from 9.7 to 8.6%. The region's positivity rates and case-to-test ratios remain historically high despite significant improvements. These measures were usually below 5% in the lows of late spring and early fall, but there has been a movement among educators to try to get as many students as possible back in the classroom safely, especially with the approach of standardized testing in the spring. St. Landry Parish Schools issued a statement that said 12th graders will return to in-person learning full-time Wednesday, while 5th through 11th grade students will continue on their hybrid schedule for the foreseeable future. The administration said there had not been widespread COVID-19 transmission in our schools, which facilitated the return of seniors. Any students in the district's virtual academy who want to return to in-person classes should contact their base school by February 5th, the release said. We will continue to work with health officials and our nursing department to monitor and evaluate current situations to determine the best modality of learning for our students, the district statement said. St. Landry and Vermillion school districts joined the Lafayette Parish and St. Martin Parish school systems in returning more students to full-time traditional schooling in late January and early February. Lafayette 8th and 12th grade students will return to full-time attendance Monday, while all middle and high school students in St. Martin Parish return to a full face-to-face schedule Thursday. Public school system in Acadia and Iberia parishes previously sent their hybrid students back to full-time face-to-face classes in November and December. Lafayette School District spokesperson Allison Dickerson said administrators choose to focus on 8th and 12th grade students because both are in important transitional periods. Seniors preparing to graduate and advance to college or professional work, and 8th graders preparing to advance to high school. Although anyone benefits from face-to-face learning, these two groups are at crucial times when teacher interaction and assessment is needed, she said. Moving on, Cargill shutters Avery Island salt mine. Move comes in the wake of a fatal roof collapse by Ben Myers staff writer. 6 weeks after a roof collapse killed 2 workers, Cargill Dicing Technology announced Thursday that it shuttered its salt mine at Avery Island. The mine has not reopened since the December 14th collapse, which remains under federal investigation. The company previously planned to quit production later in 2021 because its lease expires at the end of the year, according to a statement. The decision to close earlier than expected stemmed from a combination of business factors, including the amount of time it would take to ramp back up to full production, according to spokesman Daniel Sullivan. With 6 weeks now behind us, considering the time to get back to full production, low demand for road salt due to a soft winter so far, and the time remaining in our lease, we need to focus our time and energy on safely closing the facility, Sullivan said. 18 people were working underground at the mine in the early morning of December 14th when the roof collapsed. All but 41-year-old Renee Romero, and 27-year-old Lance Begno made it out alive. Romero and Begno each had less than 30 weeks of total mining experience, according to a preliminary accident report. Inspectors discovered at least 4 serious safety violations following the collapse, according to the Mine Safety and Health Administration's online database. The violations pertain to hazardous ground conditions and barricades and warning signs, records show. The company decided not to reopen after the collapse out of an abundance of caution, Sullivan said in an email. We know we can operate safely, he said. About 200 people work at the mine, and Sullivan said their employment status is still being determined. Decommissioning the mine will take at least 3 years, according to the company. There is still a significant amount of work that needs to be done at the mine to complete closure activities and maintain safety. We will work through a process to determine positions and employees needed to support mine closure activities, which will consider employee skills and experience required, Sullivan said. Federal law requires companies to formally notify the state within 60 days of shuttering a work site or 50 or more people. Cargill has not yet filed such a notice as of January 19th, according to state records. The mine in Avery Island has been operating since the mid-1800s and was the first rock salt mine in North America. The mine is owned by Avery Island Incorporated and has been managed by Cargill since 1997, when it acquired the lease from Asco Noble. The Cargill mine in Avery Island is one of 3 commercial salt mines in Louisiana and 14 in the United States. The Louisiana mines are clustered around a salt dome in Iberia and St. Mary Parish, and they collectively employ about 500 people. Cargill also operates a salt evaporation facility in Bridge. These facilities are not affected by the mine's closing. Prior to the Cargill roof collapse, the last death in a Louisiana salt mine occurred at the Comte Blanche mine in 2013 when a piece of salt fell and struck a shaftman. Federal inspectors have found more than 50 safety violations at the Cargill mines since the start of 2020, including at least 15 that are considered serious. Yet its rate of serious violations in that time is below the national average and the lowest among Louisiana's salt mines. The violations discovered after the roof collapse are not likely related to the cause of the collapse because the results of that investigation will not be revealed until it's complete, said Kim Redding, a mine safety consultant and former inspector with the Mine Safety and Health Administration. These citations are not associated with 2 fatalities. Citations are coming for the fatalities. We won't see them sometimes for 6 months, Redding said. Staff writer Kirsten Mossbrucker contributed to this article. And now we have our first public service announcement break for the morning. Everyone should have shelter, especially from Louisiana weather. Due to COVID-19 and concerns for community spread, there has been a dramatic decrease in available shelter beds. That means many experiencing homelessness may have no other option than to sleep on the street. Throughout this pandemic, the Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness and Housing, or ARCH, has been able to utilize local hotel and motel rooms as a temporary housing solution. From there, case managers help our fellow Acadians transition to permanent housing. ARCH is very proud of their success in keeping those they serve safe from COVID-19 and on their way to long-term stability. However, the number of homeless is growing, and ARCH needs your help to get our neighbors out of the cold into warm, safe housing. You can help today by going to ARCH Acadiana, that's ARCH Acadiana.org, or if you prefer to donate by check, you can send a check to ARCH P.O. Box 3936 Lafayette, LA 70502. Okay, continuing with the Acadiana news. Abshire takes post with Lafayette Parks. Youngsville council member resigns seat by Megan Wyatt, staff writer. Youngsville City Council member Jamie Abshire has resigned from his elected position to accept a leadership role in the Parks and Rec Department of Parks and Recreation, Department of Lafayette Consolidated Government, or LCG. Abshire, who also served as Youngsville's mayor pro temp, will now supervise programs and maintenance at LCG's parks and recreation centers. This is an opportunity that I can't pass up, Abshire said during the council's January meeting. It's a phenomenal opportunity for myself and to be able to truly help impact something that I could hold near and dear to my heart. Besides the city of Youngsville, it's something that I've sat back and did a lot of praying over, and it's a decision that hasn't come easily to me. Youngsville Mayor Ken Ritter presented Abshire with a commemorative key to the city for his service. I'm proud of you, Ritter said. I'm excited about what the future holds. I can't think of anybody better suited to have a position in Parks and Rec. Abshire served on the Youngsville City Council for 6 years. He pushed city leaders to start youth sports programs of its own. Now the Youngsville Sports Complex has about 1,500 children who participate in seasonal activities of the complex. The success that we've had just to start something and where we ended up is a huge part of what you put in it. said the complex director, Tim Robichaux. We've been so pleased to have councilmen that are so into the sporting side. That's one of the reasons we've been so successful. Abshire has served as a volunteer coach for about 25 years. His fellow council member said he always lights up when talking about parks and recreation. Abshire said he will continue to serve the people in Youngsville. I will be here. I do live in the community, Abshire said. I still plan on being highly involved. It just won't be in an elected capacity. On Monday, the Youngsville City Council is expected to approve a resolution for a special election to fill Abshire's vacant Division A seat. Qualifying for the October 9th primary election would take place July 14th through 16th. If necessary, a runoff election would take place on November 13th. The council is also expected to nominate and appoint a new mayor pro tem during the special meeting, which is set for 5:30 p.m. Monday at the Youngsville City Hall. And next story up, services set for Lafayette official. Assistant City Parish Attorney died on Tuesday by staff reports. Funeral services for Stephen Oates, an assistant Lafayette City Parish Attorney, has been scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Saturday during a Mass of Christian burial in the Cathedral of St. John, the Evangelist Catholic Church in Lafayette. Interment will be in St. John's Cemetery. Martin and Castile Funeral Home downtown is in charge of arrangements. Mourners unable to attend the service will be able to live stream it through a memorial Facebook group dedicated to Oates. You may also share memories, pictures, and condolences to the family in this Facebook group. That's facebook.com/group/Stephen Joseph Oates. Oates died Tuesday in his home at age 63. He was a founding partner in the law firm Oates and Marino and a past president of the University of Louisiana and Lafayette Alumni Association. He earned his law degree in 1983 from Tulane University School of Law and earned his undergraduate degree from UL. His devotion to the University of Louisiana athletics, especially baseball, was impossible to miss. His obituary states, at home games, Steve could be spotted in the seating area nearest first base with a coterie of friends and fellow fans cheering on the Raging Cajuns. Major President Josh Guillory issued the following statement Wednesday. Steve Oates was a trusted colleague and friend. He loved Lafayette deeply and spent his time and energy working to make our community a better place to live, work, and raise our families. Steve taught me a great deal about the history of our city and parish, and his decades of experience in local government made him an invaluable resource. On behalf of the city's citizens of Lafayette, I send my heartfelt condolences to his wife, Sylvia, the UL community, and all who benefit from his wisdom and experience. He will be truly missed. City Parish Attorney Greg Logan said Wednesday he was a dedicated husband to his wife, Sylvia, and a dedicated member of both the Lafayette and ULL community. His presence and contributions will be missed. Moving on to state news. Some seeing high energy bills. Regulators investigating complaints about utility by Mark Ballard, Capitol Bureau editor. Louisiana utility regulators are looking into why some residential customers have received much higher electric bills this month from Entergy Louisiana, even though the rates haven't changed. Several customers are reporting dramatically higher bills to the Louisiana Public Service Commission and local media. WBRZ-TV, a Baton Rouge television station, spoke to a woman in Denham Springs whose monthly bill jumped from $158.19 to $334.43. Though Commissioner Lambert Bossier III lives in New Orleans, he doesn't regulate utilities within city limits. That's up to the city council, which is meeting next week on the issue. But he does get a lot of calls from city presidents as well as his constituents. He noted a handful of calls, but they were all the same complaint, and that caught his attention. He asked Commission staff on Wednesday to look into the reasons. I've talked to Entergy and I've heard a lot of speculation about why, Beausier said on Thursday. That's why we need the auditors and engineers to work with Entergy to figure it out. Only then can the Commission come up with a way to fix the problems, he added. In the meantime, Beausier suggested customers work with Entergy to make payment plans. Commission Chairman Craig Green said his office, which covers much of Baton Rouge and Lafayette, had 9 calls. It's an uptick, but it was enough to ask Entergy to look at what's going on, to investigate those spikes, and report back to us on anything abnormal or in need of correcting. Green asked staff to report back in 2 to 3 weeks. Energy Louisiana President Philip May acknowledged Thursday the bills went up by about 20% in January, higher for homes using electric heat, but noted that the weather was colder and the cold weather lasted longer in December than it did in December 2019, and particularly in comparison to an extended warm spell that lasted through November. That has a big effect on customer bills, May said. Basically, customers pay a private utility's cost of generating and delivering electricity plus a profit of about 10%. Added to that rate are various riders that cover additional costs, such as getting the lights restored after a hurricane, plus the cost of the fuel used to run the generators that make electricity, but without profit. The total costs are divided by the number of customers to create a rate that is multiplied by the amount of electricity an individual customer uses. In January 2020, Baton Rouge and Lafayette area residential customers using 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity in December 2019, slightly below the 1,300 kilowatts a typical homeowner uses, paid at $90.97 in January. But in January 2021, the bills for the same customer were $98.83, according to Public Service Commission documents. Though the basic rates remain the same, about 4 cents per kilowatt hour, some of the 10 riders charge more or subtracted less on the bill. For instance, the surcharge to true-up expenses not covered by the formula rate plan increased from $7.49 in January 2020 to $9.83 in January 2021. The cost of fuel for the residential customer using 1,000 kilowatts went up by 40 cents. Several issues could be coming into play to explain why some customers are seeing dramatically higher bills this month. The chief one is that the pandemic has kept more people indoors using more power. Industry trade publications and reports from shareholder meetings indicate that in Louisiana and across the nation, utilities are seeing higher residential usage as the amount of power being used by commercial and industrial customers have dipped since May when the COVID-19 pandemic started. The bill shown in the WBRZ report had nearly double, but it also listed the amount of electricity used increasing from 1,676 kilowatt hours to 3,824. There has been a widespread increase in residential usage since last March. That's just fact, said Logan Atkinson Burke, head of Alliance for Affordable Energy. But her New Orleans-based consumer group also has heard more complaints about the new meters Entergy has been installing around the state since 2018. The new meters are more accurate and report usage in real time. In some cases, the new meters have recorded a higher usage than the old analog meters, prompting Entergy to bill customers to recoup underbilling prior to the change in meters. A new billing system also seems to have caused confusion when old invoices were wiped off the computer system, unless the customer saved hard copies of their old bills, which contain monthly usage data. It means sorting out the issue more confusing, Burke said. Entergy's Louisiana's May noted that within 1.1 million customers, occasional problems with the new meters are to be expected. Some of these old analog meters do slow down over time, but that's a very rare instance, May said, also adding that customers can call Entergy to work out problems with the bills or their bills. All right, it's about time to take a break, almost our half hour into our broadcast this morning. So we usually take a break and we The Associated Press offers The Advocate, The Day in History, and the Zodiac, the horoscope, as I like to refer to it as. So today in history, today is Friday, January 29th, the 29th day of 2021. There were potentially 336 shopping days left in the year. Today's highlight in history: on January 29th, 1979, President Jimmy Carter formally welcomed Chinese Vice Premier Deng Xiaoping to the White House following the establishment of diplomatic relations. On this date in 1820, King George III died at Windsor Castle at age 81. He was succeeded by his son, who became King George V. In 1990, the ratification of the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, which launched Prohibition, was certified by Acting Secretary of State Frank L. Polk. 1936, the first inductees of baseball's Hall of Fame, including Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth, were named in Cooperstown, New York. 1963, the first charter members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame were named in Canton, Ohio. They were enshrined when the hall opened in September 1963. In January on this date, a bomb exploded inside the U.S. State Department in Washington, causing considerable damage, but injuring no one. The radical group Weather Underground claimed responsibility. In 1984, President Ronald Reagan announced in a nationally broadcast message that he and Vice President George H.W. Bush would seek re-election in the fall. In 1998, a bomb rocked an abortion clinic in Birmingham, Alabama, killing security guard Robin Sanderson and critically injuring nurse Emily Lyons. The bomber, Eric Rudolph, was captured in May of 2003 and is serving a life sentence. Also on this date in 2006, ABC's World News Tonight co-anchor Bob Woodruff and a cameraman was seriously injured in a roadside bombing in Iraq. 10 years ago today, with protests raging, Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak named his intelligence chief Omar Suleiman as his first ever vice president. 5 years ago today, the Obama administration confirmed for the first time that Hillary Clinton's home server contained closely guarded government secrets. An avalanche in the Canadian province of British Columbia left 5 people riding snowmobiles dead, and that was also 5 years ago today. 1 year ago, a charter flight evacuating 195 Americans, including diplomats and their families, left the Chinese city of Wuhan, the epicenter of the new viral outbreak. They would undergo 3 days of testing and monitoring at a California military base. World health officials expressed concern that the virus was starting to spread between people outside of China, and we know the history of that particular virus to today. Today's birthdays: feminist author Germaine Greer is 82. Actor Catherine Ross is 81. Actor Tom Selleck, 76. R&B singer Betty LaVette, 75. Actor Mark Singer is 73. Actor Ann Gillian, 71. Rock musician Louis Perez from the group Los Lobos, one of my favorites, 68. R&B singer Charlie Wilson, 68. Talk show host Oprah Winfrey is 67 years old today. Actor Terry Kinney, 67. Actor Judy Norton from the TV show The Waltons is 63. Olympic gold medal diver Greg Louganis is 61. Actor Nicholas Turturro is 59. Actor-director Edward Burns, 53. Actor Heather Graham, 51. Former House Speaker Paul Ryan from Wisconsin, Republican, is 51. Actor Sarah Gilbert, 46. Writer and TV personality Jediah Belaya is 42. And country singer Eric Paulsley is 38 years old today. Oh, and look at this, blues musician Johnny Lang from the Shreveport area is 40 years old today. Okay, turning to the zodiac or the horoscope, Aquarius. Check out what's going on around you before you make a decision. Uncertainty will be a signal that you are better off taking a pass. Nurture a relationship that's going through difficult times. Pisces, leave nothing unfinished, and you will avoid criticism and complaints. How you reach out to help others will determine the type of support you receive. A change of plans will leave you in an awkward position. Aries, don't dwell on what you can't do. Focus on what's possible. Pour your enthusiasm into what counts. Refuse to let a change someone makes lead to a spat. Live in the moment. Taurus, a stubborn attitude will not help you get your way. Rethink your strategy before you get into a verbal battle. Your reputation, position, or status will come under scrutiny. Gemini, you'll get a false impression of what someone can do or what they have. Don't sign up for something based on what you hear. Get the facts. Protect your assets. Use your intelligence to advance, and that's my youngest son's birth sign. Cancer, use your imagination when it comes to business matters. A close friend and relative will offer or verify facts that will help you avoid a loss. Encourage romance. Be equitable in all things. Leo, my mom's birth sign, take measures that allow you to work alone. The less interference you have, the easier it will be to get things done. If you let your intuition be your guide, you'll know what you have to do. Virgo, my birth sign, listen and learn. The less you say, the more you will discover about a friend, colleague, or distant relative. Personal growth, self-improvement, and positive changes are all prevalent. Libra, take pride in your home and the way you live. Refuse to let anyone belittle the things or people that mean something to you. Scorpio, don't let someone poison your vision. Use your imagination and resources to create a positive outcome. It's up to you to take charge if you're going to live life your way. Sagittarius, my wife's birth sign. What you learn will help you get ahead. Pick up skills, knowledge, a license, or anything else that can help you claim a position that interests you. And finally, Capricorn, which includes my oldest son's birthday. Consider how you earn your living and what you have done to improve your life, and you'll come up with a plan that will make you happy. Stop dreaming and start living life your way. And that, my friends, is the horoscope. It's an entertainment feature, not based on scientific fact. And to continue with entertainment, as I like to do on Fridays, going into the weekend, is read any entertainment news that the Advocate prints out on their Friday editions. So I'd like to start with a story about a local group. The article is entitled "How Sweet It Is." Sweet Cecilia Savers Grammy nomination by John Wirt, contributing writer. Sisters Laura Berard Huval and Megan Berard Rankin and their cousin Kaylee Goodry remember November 24th, Grammy nomination announcement day very well. Members of Sweet Cecilia, an Americana music trio based in the St. Martin Parish community of Cecilia, stayed in contact by phone while they separately viewed the announcement online. Huval was at home with her young son just after she assumed all the nominations for Best Regional Roots Album had been read. The announcer said, "A tribute to Al Barad by Sweet Cecilia." The roof-raising screams Huval unleashed in that thrilling moment is preserved in a video on the band's Facebook page. "It was pure excitement and joy," she said. "I still feel just so humbled and shocked. We've been playing music our whole lives, so it's a validation to be recognized in that way. It's already a win for us." Two other Louisiana bands, the New Orleans Nightcrawlers and Cameron Dupuis and the Cajun Troubadours, are also among the Best Regional Roots Album nominees. The COVID-19 delayed Grammy Awards take place March 14th. A tribute to Al Barad pays homage to Huval's and Rankin's father, a Grammy nominee himself for the Basin Brothers' 1990 album Let's Get Cajun. The tribute features French language Barad compositions that Huval, Rankin, and Guidry love. It was a great journey for us, Huval said of recording the album. We just wanted to remember Dad and the beautiful songs that he wrote, and we wanted to share that with everyone, putting our own twist on it. Sweet Cecilia is donating money generated from the album sales to the Alvarado Memorial Fund at the Community Foundation of Acadiana. We're so proud to say that to date, we were able to grant $80,000 to the arts and music community, Huval said. Music camps, scholarships, and any organization that supports the arts and music were there for them. The goal behind the album was to honor Dad and bring awareness to the foundation. But then, wow, we got nominated for a Grammy Award. We call it divine intervention. Sweet Cecilia made his beautifully sun-played and recorded third album at the Alvarado recording studio in Tony Daigle's Electric Como Land studio. Huval credits Daigle, a three-time Grammy winner, for the project's luxuriously warm sound. As Tony Daigle's manager, she said, I will say this, too. We were so lucky to bring in my husband, Adrian Huval, to play accordion, and Kyle Aver, who my dad taught to play fiddle. They loved Dad and had a strong connection with him. We knew they would pour their heart and soul into every note. Sweet Cecilia began working on a tribute to Alvarado in 2018, 4 years after Albert Puyuk Barad's unexpected death at 53. Emotion surfaced during the sessions. We had sad moments during the waltzes, Huval recalled. We had to stop, couldn't hold back the crying. But when we did Chantement en Chanson, it was a blast because we remembered Dad's spirit and how much fun we had playing the song with him. Speaking for myself, it was a healing project for me. Sweet Cecilia began as a backup band for the Alvarado Guitar Band. When Barad took a break, the future members of Sweet Cecilia stayed on the bandstand singing their favorite songs in three-part harmony. Huval, Rankin, and Guidry have been singing together since childhood. Huval especially remembers the day her father returned from a 5-week Basin of Brothers tour. He cried when he heard for the first time his daughters and niece singing in harmony. The girls found singing role models in Hearts, Ann and Nancy Wilson, the Judds, and Wilson Phillips. The product of diverse influences, Sweet Cecilia is fine with being classified as an American band. Initially, we never played Cajun music unless we're playing it with Dad, Huval said. We love Cajun music, it's in our blood, but we love all kinds of music. When you put it all together, country, rock, bluegrass, and mixed in Cajun flair, that's Americana. Our tribute to Alvarado is available at sweetceciliagirls.com and in the Acadian area at Crawfish Town, USA, La Market Shops at the 115, Green's Piggly Wiggly, T. Cochon, Chicken on the Bayou, Sunny D's, and of course, our only independent record store in the Acadiana and Lafayette region, Lanyap Records, downtown on Jefferson. Okay, and what I've been doing for the last week or so or more is talking about noted musicians who passed away in 2020, and we'll continue today with the next 5. We have Charlie Daniels. We all know Charlie Daniels as The Devil Went Down to Georgia fame. He was a Southern rock pioneer, and he was fiddle great. He died at the age of 83. He was the leader of the Charlie Daniels Band, and like I said, known for his The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and for his session work on Bob Dylan's Nashville Skyline. Johnny Mandel. Johnny Mandel was a composer of the MASH theme and more songs. He died in 2020 at the age of 94. He worked with Quincy Jones, Frank Sinatra, Count Basie, and won an Oscar for 1965 song, The Shadow of Your Smile. Betty Wright, soul singer Betty Wright, died at 66, Grammy-winning and off-sample vocalist. She also had hits with Clean Up Woman, Tonight Is the Night, and Girls Can't Do What the Guys Do, and she had an incredibly soulful voice. Harold Reed, you may not know his name, but you know the group he was with if you are follow country music at all. The Statler Brothers singer, Harold Reed, is dead at 80. The vocalist provided the baritone bottom end to the group's hits like Flowers on the Wall and Bed of Roses. And finally, Bill Reflin. Bill Reflin, drummer of King Crimson REM Ministry, died at the age of 59. He was a multi-instrumentalist. He also performed with Nine Inch Nails, KMFDM, Swans, and many others. Okay, let's go back into our news. Getting back into the state news, the state sees a low rate of nursing home staff opting to take vaccine by Sam Carlin, staff writer. Only about a quarter of Louisiana nursing home workers who have been offered vaccines have accepted the shot so far, as the federal efforts to immunize people who live and work in long-term care facilities continues to move slowly. Governor John Bel Edwards' administration said Thursday it was redirecting doses originally allocated to the nursing home program to the broader public until the program uses the tens of thousands of doses it has on hand. Residents of nursing homes have been much more willing to get vaccinated when CVS and Walgreens, the federal government's partners, show up, Dr. Joe Cantor, Louisiana's state health officer, said at a media briefing. About 69% of residents also have been offered shots so far, have accepted, he said. The uptake among staff is far worse, 26%. About 240 of the state's 270 nursing homes have received one visit from Walgreens or CVS for the vaccinations, Cantor said. And vaccinators will make multiple visits to give out second shots and a new round of first shots. The program is also visiting other long-term care facilities such as assisted living centers. For the first 5 weeks after vaccines began arriving in Louisiana on December 14th, the long-term care program took about 57% of Moderna's vaccine allocated to the state. That added up to 93,600 doses that are earmarked for nursing homes. But earlier this month, Edwards' administration and several other states stopped giving part of its weekly allocation to the program as the doses were getting unused, Cantor said. For the past 2 weeks, the state has taken the full allocation of Moderna doses from the feds and will continue to do so until the balance drops, he said. Cantor said only 28,000 of the 93,600 doses allocated to the partnership have been used so far, with 19,149 going to residents and 8,889 going to staff. U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data shows higher numbers, about 40,500 doses used, including 838 second doses, but that is still less than half of the 96,300 doses taken by the program. It hasn't gone as fast as we wanted it to, Cantor said. There's no point in just having doses sitting there. At this point, the president is pretty well said that if you still have a considerable number in the bank, so to say, you don't have to continue to pay into it. We're not going to pay into it until that balance gets lower. That temporarily gives the state more doses to use on people 70 and older, thousands of whom are waiting for their turn as providers delay appointments because of a lack of supply, but it also reflects a slow pace of vaccinations among perhaps the most at-risk group of people, nursing home residents, who were included in the first priority group because of how prone they are to die from outbreaks of the disease. We are concerned, Edwards said on Thursday, but the governor also said he believes the number of workers at nursing homes and other long-term facilities accepting the vaccine will increase when vaccinators make their second pass through the facilities. That's what happened at the states of war veterans' homes, he said, when uptake doubled. The program is starting to make its first visit to assisted living centers now, and Cantor said it will visit every long-term care facility in the state by February 8th. The overwhelming majority of shots given so far through the program has gone to nursing homes, he said. The federal government has several times revised its estimates of how many doses it thinks will be needed to immunize all long-term care residents and staff who want the vaccine, Cantor said. That number currently sits at 116,000, which means the state will have at some point have to resume sending doses to the program. If doses are left over at the end, Edwards said the state will claw them back to be used on Louisiana residents. Mark Berger, the executive director of the Louisiana Nursing Home Association, said in a statement, the nursing homes have been working diligently to educate residents and staff members to get vaccinated. This week, the Louisiana Department of Health, and in consultation with the Nursing Home Association, distributed a document to all nursing homes giving suggestions on how to increase uptake among staff. The ideas included making senior staff available for one-on-one or small group consultations to debunk disinformation on the internet, discuss side effects and acknowledgement of history and experience of African Americans with vaccination. Although our profession is still in the midst of the vaccination process, we are celebrating the many staff members and residents who have been vaccinated, Berger said. LNHA believes that the educational efforts will encourage more health care staff members to become vaccinated in the second round of vaccination clinics. More broadly, the state is receiving a bump of 9,200 Moderna doses next week, to 38,100 total, after being told to expect relatively flat shipments for the next month or so. That means the state will receive a total of 67,350 doses as its Pfizer shipments remain flat. The Biden administration told states that they will have a 3-week window into the number of doses they are receiving, a break from the previous administration, which gave a few days' notice of the upcoming week's shipment. Cantor says he believes the uptick in Moderna doses will hold true for all 3 of the coming weeks, but he said the state hasn't received confirmation yet. Some healthcare providers, including the state's largest health system, Arsenal Health, has canceled thousands of appointments in recent weeks because of a lack of supply. Cantor said he believes the longer window into shipments will mitigate cancellation of appointments because providers will have a better sense of how many doses to expect. And this article was put together by staff writers Famon Roberts and Yusuf Rajid, as well as the other authors that contributed to this story. Now let's bring you up to date on the numbers, the coronavirus numbers. The latest as of yesterday, 8,202 deaths in Louisiana and 345,457 positive cases. Okay, continuing with state news. Large state GOP gathering set, prompting virus concerns by Sam Carlin, staff writer. The sprawling 230-member Republican State Central Committee will descend on a Baton Rouge church Saturday to hold its quarterly meeting, during which members will vote for a party chair. The indoor event has prompted concerns about the spread of COVID-19. The committee makes up the infrastructure of the state's Republican Party, and the quarterly meeting is set to take place at Parkview Baptist Church. The state party told members it will block off some seats in the main auditorium to maintain social distancing, and that party staff will be masked at all times. The section on the far left facing the stage is reserved for members who wish to wear a mask for the entire meeting and want others seated in their section to also wear masks, the party said in its agenda message to members. Eddie Raspone, the GOP donor who lost a close race from governor in 2019, raised concerns in an email to members earlier this week, saying Parkview has a 600-person capacity, too small for a meeting with the size and our membership and staff, he said. He said Crown Plaza confirmed he could have accommodated the committee meeting. After the state party sent out its message outlining the COVID-19 protocols, and after the party subsequently said masks would be required, Raspone said they didn't satisfy his concerns. He said committee meetings were poorly attended last year and said the way this meeting was handled discourages participation. He said questions and concerns should have been answered weeks ago. We have known about this meeting for months, Raspone said. Other venues were available when we could have held this meeting safely and responsibly. Raspone and major donors of the party jumped in the race to unseat state party chairman Louis Gervich in late December, but he promptly dropped out earlier this month. State Representative Lance Harris, Republican Alexandria, has since jumped into the race for party chair. The meeting comes after 2 high-profile Republicans, Congressman-elect Luke Letlow and former state representative Steve Carter died from complications due to COVID-19 in recent weeks. And meanwhile, the state recently confirmed the presence of a new variant of the virus that transmits between people more easily. Despite creating a specific section of the auditorium for people who wish to wear a mask and want others to wear a mask around them, Gervich said in a text message that masks will be required except for anyone exempted under state and local guidelines. For example, anyone who has a medical exemption from wearing a mask will not be asked to sit in the mask-only section. Gervich said they will have to sit in another section. Gervich did not respond to further inquiries. Governor John Bel Edwards mask mandate orders people to wear a face covering when inside a commercial establishment or any other building or space open to the public, whether indoor or outdoor. Exceptions include children, people delivering a speech, those consuming food or drinks, and people with a medical condition that prevents the wearing of a mask covering. Health officials have said people with a medical condition that prevents them from wearing a mask should not be out in public because of their risk of contracting a severe case of COVID-19. All right, looking at the sports, bringing it home, UL women return home, hoping to build on lead in the Sun Belt West race, by Kevin Foote, sports and staff writer for The Advocate. UL women's coach Gary Broadhead joked he had to set his GPS system to find the Cajun Dome again. He asked one of the Raging Cajuns play Texas State at 6 p.m. on Friday. Today, it'll end a 51-day drought between home games for UL. During that period, a lot has happened and a lot hasn't for Broadhead's squad. 2 Sun Belt series have been postponed because of COVID-19 issues with the opposition, and the Cajuns also managed to win 4 or 5 road games in the Sun Belt. Consequently, Broadhead Cajuns return home in first place at 5-5 overall and 4-1 in conference play after a 3-game sweep of the 2 Arkansas schools last weekend. Texas State is 6-5 and 8-3 in conference. It's great to see kids work so hard for so long and see some of the results that they deserve, Broadhead said. It was a great weekend, a lot of different kind of basketball. It went from finesse to physical games. For us to adjust and finish off those games is big for us, but it's long from being over. The first step is to take Texas State as seriously as the Cajuns did Arkansas State and Little Rock. The next step is transferring that resolve on the road to the home court. Now we're at home, and there's a little more freedom. Do we lose focus or not? Once they get to the court, it's about flexibility. The 3 wins in Arkansas largely revolved around defense and leaning heavily on Western players. Friday begins a process of devising a way to improve offensively without falling too far on the defensive end. Young guns like Micaiah Hellman, Destiny McAfee, and Bree Porter can score, but must improve defensively. They're instant offense, but we're not looking for that right now. We're looking for making stops. To help the offense, it would really help if these young kids can continue to improve, Broadhead said. So that's our job. We have to put them in position. We have to hold some of the younger ones after practice like we used to and really get them focused on the defensive side so we can get more offense. Broadhead admitted he had some heated debates over substitution patterns in Arkansas with offensive assistant Valerie Uzier during the search for the winning combination. Their most recent solution was going to the taboo 2-3 zone for this man-to-man program down the stretch of Little Rock. Broadhead was worried his players would view it as a slap in the face, but it worked for what he said was only the second time in his 9 years as UL's coach. It also allowed McAfee to contribute offensively within the zone. Another future solution could be a more consistent schedule, ignited elite defender Kim Burton's game. She's currently averaging 6 points a game. We need to put some game underneath her belt to get back more consistently on the offensive side, Broadhead said. I think she played a little more comfortably in the last game. Then there's matching up with Texas State, which won the first meeting 71-63 over UL, before the Cajuns rebounded in style 67-41. The next big thing about them is they like to pound it inside, Brodhead said. In the second game, we pressured it in the full court and trapped ball screens instead of switching them. Can we slow down their post play and limit them to one shot? It's going to be a challenge. Our defense is going to be extremely important in this game. And finally, we look at the funerals in the Acadiana area today. Hawk Gwen at Fountain Memorial Hall Funeral Home, 1010 Pandora Street in Lafayette at 4 p.m. And Kezi Shabbat Kezi, Archangel Gabriel Orthodox Church in Lafayette at 11 a.m. And Kevin Stout at the Walters Funeral Home at 11:30 a.m. Well, folks, this has been Local News Live for January 29th, 2021. I have been your reader, Bruce Cohen, and will always be Bruce Cohen, no matter what. You can always join us Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. where we read Local News Live on AOC1, one of our TV, or all of our TV stations, where you can hear the audio, or you can go to Cypress Street Radio, our online streaming radio station, or our YouTube station, AOC Community Media. That's our channel on YouTube. You can also read these stories and more at theadvocate.com. And if you wish to become a wonderful newspaper volunteer reader, go to our website, which is aocinc.org. That's aocinc.org. Go to the volunteer page. And it sounds like there's a group of people finally coming to the room. Go to well, thank you. That's great. That's great. Thank you, people. I really appreciate it. All my fans out there. That's wonderful. I did not expect that. Unexpected. From the rousing crowd of fans out there in Lafayette. I really appreciate it. I'll have to shout over their wonderful clapping. So I'm just going to let that again. Congratulate me. Thank you all for listening. I will be back, though. I will be back. And have a great morning. We'll see you on the flip-flop. Matt, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, Bruce, we wanted to jump in. There's a few of us in here this morning. We wanted to just jump in and say thanks for all your hard work volunteering. We really do appreciate it, buddy. I don't know if Ed can hear us. We can hear whatever's going on with him now. Ed, did you want to say anything?
Is it Ed?
Yeah, I was not expecting to tell you, Bruce, how much we really do. You have been one of the top 3 volunteers in my 20 years of experience here. And when I say in the top 3, you're an extremely good company. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you. Not just your news reading, but your participation at the board level has been very meaningful. And we're going to try to keep you connected, regardless of where you live. Good luck on that adventure as well. But we'll be in touch, and I'll listen to you every now and then to keep up. Hope you do well on your move, brother. We're going to miss you around here in person, but we're going to keep you participating. And thanks a lot. Truly.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Almost bringing a tear to my eye.
Well, you're a hero among some big-time heroes. I'm talking 20 years of volunteers, and some very, very, very good ones don't make it to the top 10, and you're the top 3. Good company. I do appreciate you, man.
Well, Ed and Matt and everybody there in Radioland, I can't tell you how much AOC means to me and what it has mean to me in the last, all the time that I've lived in Lafayette. AOC has always been something that I've been involved with and listened to. And I can't tell you the opportunities that AOC offers to anyone in the community who wants to get involved in their community is just phenomenal. I can't express how much AOC means to me and not just AOC, but you guys, Matt, Ed, Mandy, everybody I've come across with at AOC has been incredible and fantastic to work with. And I love you guys. I'll miss you for sure physically being in Georgia, but hopefully virtually we'll continue on and on and on and on and on and on and on until we can't continue on anymore virtually. But I will be back. I will be back and see you face to face one of these days, not mask to mask. Hopefully I'll be able to see you face to face.
Well, Bruce,
So
I think there's a couple more people in that at least just want to say thanks. So
Okay.
Mayo is here with us, and William McFarland is here with us as well.
Okay. All right. Hey, Mandy.
Hey, Bruce. I just wanted to pop in, and you know how much I appreciate you. We can talk all the time, and hopefully we can continue to do that and keep in touch, even with you in a new place. We're going to miss you a whole lot.
Thank you so
Personally,
much.
too.
Yeah, Mandy, I really cherish our friendship. I cherish all my friendships, but I really cherish my friendship with you. Thank you so much, Mandy.
Well, yeah, Bruce, but I just wanted to come in and say thanks again for everything you do and safe travels. It sounds like a fun adventure. So we know you're going to have a good time, but we know you'll still be with us. We're excited for you, definitely.
Thank you, William. I really appreciate it. Thank you for always being, helping out with the broadcast and everything that you do at AOC.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We all
been a
really,
pleasure.
we all really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Safe travels, man. Safe travels.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, you guys, anybody listening to the web extras, we are going to end this broadcast here, but we just all of us at AOC wanted to jump on and say thanks to Bruce for all his volunteer efforts. We'll stay on and thank him a little more, but thank you all for listening. If you're listening to the web extra, this is the kind of fun we have at AOC, so come volunteer for us, aocinc.org.
See you on the flip-flop, guys.